Boom. All right. It's Wednesday night. It's 8 o'clock, and this is, every time I read the book of Jubilees, it just gets better and better. And it's such a great thing to go back through the book of Jubilees, especially when it's talking about the beginning and the creation of the earth, and a lot of explanation that happens about the creation of the earth. And that's what we're talking about in the beginning of the book of Jubilees. We're just at chapter 2. And this is where they say it's like I said in the lead up to it, they say, let us create them in our image. And there's an explanation to that right there at the beginning of the chapter, in the chapter 2 of the book of Jubilees. So, hey, thanks for joining in. It's such a great to see all of y'all in here. Jessica, thanks for coming in. Ann, thank you for coming in here. See Ann, Jessica, see all of y'all. This is going to be a great lesson today, man. We're going to go through right where it talks about the sun and how to keep up with things on a solar calendar, which comes up in chapter 6. It tells you exactly how to put one together to have the 4 seasons and to turn out perfectly. And it also tells you, too, that these are the things that we're going to find buried in these earthen vessels. And sure enough, 2,000 years later, they discovered the Dead Sea Scrolls, which were an amazing group of work. The Dead Sea Scrolls, we're going to be reading out of the book of Jubilees, and it's the 6th most popular Dead Sea Scroll that was recovered. And the Dead Sea Scrolls themselves are some of the most scientifically verified and academically studied documents on the earth. I mean, they sent people there to try to find Solomon's treasure. So when we start reading, they ridiculed those documents perfectly, and all they said was they matched the Bible perfectly. And they went, oh, well, I mean, we came all the way over here to find out about this, and they were just right there in the nightstand of the hotel room, word for word, exactly like that. So, big wasted trip, no Solomon's treasure, no big deal. Thank you so much for the present. I certainly appreciate that. Thank you, Mindy. Thank you. Y'all get in competition with that. Oh, no. We got in a competition on here the other day, and we beat them up. But, he was stricken and thrown to the earth. And the fallen angels, there's talking about the fallen angels. It talks about them in the book of Enoch, where we get some lessons on them of how they're walking the earth and what have you, the fallen. But I tell you, that's what we're fighting. We're fighting actually the devil and his minions, and we put on the armor of the Lord, and that's what we're trying to get through this world with, because we know literally that while we're sitting there, about statistically, half of the people that you're talking to are probably demons, or have a demon, or know a demon, or it says that he cast demons out of many, so that's more than half. So just know that's statistically what we're doing. And we're reading out of one of the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's in the Codex right there. And the Codex we're reading out of Jubilees, because I think that's one of the most important things. We read last week that's one of the book of Jubilees is, excuse me, the book of Jubilees was written by God, and it was recovered. And whenever they recovered that in the Dead Sea Scrolls, then the book of Jubilees, then the book of Genesis and Exodus both say the exact same things, that Moses went up on the mountain and received the law and the commandments. So there was 2 things that he came down with, the 2 tables of stone. And then he himself wrote the first 5 books of the Bible. So I love the way that this story tells itself. But, these are some very popular documents. And again, Jubilees, we're reading right out of that. It was in the top 10. Enoch 1 is still in the top 10. But the church didn't think that you needed to read either one of these. And it's been a pleasure. We have just enjoyed so much printing these, and what me and AJ do. It gives us the opportunity to work together so much. And that's all the Dead Sea Scrolls. People always ask me, can you put the Dead Sea Scrolls into the Bible? I'm like going, well, first off, it would be, 7, 8 inches thick, and it would weigh 16 pounds. And the devil would just love that if you could create a boat anchor that nobody would take around with them. And the more I thought about that, the more I liked putting, hey, these are all the Dead Sea Scrolls, blah, blah, blah. Let's put them in something. And you can see you can hold this thing. It's 2 inches thick. I know exactly because I make them all day long, and I know exactly how long the binder is. But they're 2 inches thick. And that's still a piece of meat. And I'm trying to create the trench Bible. Where's my trench Bible right here? Hang on, I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Show you my little side project here. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Is this the coolest thing? I know. This is just the book of Jubilees. It's the Trench Diary. I mean, it's going to be perfect. And I just bound it because I was like, this thing, I don't want it to come apart. So I just drilled the holes through it with the drilling. Get a hole, and then I tied with this. This is a man, dude. But I bet you that this would take a slug too, man. If you had like this in your top pocket and you're like, bah, they got me. Oh, you don't know. You gotta think about that, man. Probably stop 38 at 247,000 yards. I know the glue's wet right here too. It just dried, and I have this as a binding, but what I want to do is make it so that I can make a series of books and that you can snap this into like one of those things where you can change the year in your calendar, and it's more where you can like take Jubilees around with you, or you can take different divisions of it, but take about that much with you. And then that way it'll be in a nice little book. I got some stuff showing up this weekend that'll give me some samples, but basically how you would pull an old calendar out and change it for the next year, that's what I'm going for. And be able to go into a series of books and then pull the little book of Jubilees out and go, dude, I'm on that. I got a plane ride today, and I'm going to be reading this, and just know how it's made. Know that it's designed to be pulled apart and destroyed, which is, I think it's cool. But I think that being printed on this paper and this size and all, I think I can make this where we can, my dad always said make a quarter 4 times, and instead of trying to make $1 once, and then you make 4 quarters, and you have a lot of happy people. So y'all think about that too, man. He was super smart. And but build something good. That's why it's all glued and screwed and do. You can just see where we tied. I drilled that hole right there just a minute ago. So like I said, it's not something that would come apart. But, the devil would want you to build all the books of the Bible. He would want you to put all them together and go, man, that thing won't even, all right, we're going to put it in the middle of the church on the big podium and never look at it again. And he was like, what's Greg over there doing? Oh, he's making a pocket version that anybody can take with them, like anywhere. And he's going to take that. You can see it right there. Let's see what's happening here. What's happening? I was watching that for a while. It's absolutely right. I kind of need one of those in my car. I heard somebody say there's something. You know what? You do need one of these. You do need one of these little things right here. I think these are going to be cool. But what needs to happen is, now that I got the thing that cuts the paper and makes the paper and all that stuff, I need to create the series. And here's what I'm having. Like it says at the last Trump, which this is the last Trump, because he's done shot himself in the foot like 75 times already. He really did. I'm not gonna go. But some of the little pictures and all, they were that's a little much, man. That was a little much for me. I was like going, hey, you know what? That's a wackadoo little thing. What does it mean to divide the word? I don't know. Where does that come from, to divide the word? Where did you get that from? Is that a piece of a scripture or something? That way I sort of got to put it in context, to divide the word. I bet, you would never want to add to or take away from the word. And that's why people say, when you build a Bible, could you add this to it? And I'm like going, no, man, I'm not. No. No, it says on the last page, do not add to or take away from the word of God. Plus, it's going to make it 2 inches thicker. And that's still not all the books, It's just those Jubilees. When everything, we taught Jubilees last year, and I'm reading it again now, and it's an amazing read. And I hope that y'all went and printed out the study guide, because this is, as I read each page, you can read each sentence in the Holy Bible. Boom, boom, boom. That whole story about when it says, let us create them in our image. Ironically, in the book of Jubilees, it tells you who they are, and they are the angels of presence, and it calls them the Malachim. And that's what's the weirdest thing. It's the Malachim. Am I saying that right? Malachim? Malachim? They probably get mad because I mispronounced her name. They're like, it's Malachim. I'm like, going, well, okay. Duh. Dude's from Georgia. Can't even stand it. He can't even say angels wrong. I don't care. Dude, it's the Malachim. The Malachim. Let me show you let me show you what you're missing. No. If you go to my bio page right there and click on the link tree, that is going to pop up, and the study guide for tonight is right there. It's about the creation, and the first thing that it's going to pop up and say is this right here. That's the cover. Boom. And then this is listing all the Malachim of the D. And on my page, I went through, and just to save you the trouble, I wrote on it, and there's 7 of them. So there's 7 good angels, and then there's 7 bad, It's just an amazing story, and we're going to get right into it. And this is the beginning of it. So instead of just leaving it as a question mark right in the middle of the book of Genesis, it says, let us create them in our image. Let's see where we can find all of those, the host of heaven, who the host of heaven are that help him create. It's written right here in the book. So go download that study guide. It's super cool. And let me show you. Go to my bio page, click on my link tree, go right there and click on that, and it will print off. And remember to click the 3 dots at the top and hit open with browser, and it's like 8 pages, and it's a really cool study guide, because what it does is you'll read it in Jubilees, and then I print it out. Hey, how are you doing? Just me. And what this is going to do is we're going to read to you one of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and then I'm going to show you where it regurgitates that like 3 or 4 times in the Bible, and it says the same thing. And it's like, you can just see why they call it the Little Genesis. And let me see if I got that picture. I think I screenshot that right before I did. I don't know if you can read that, but it says that Enoch and the book of Jubilees should be enumerated amongst the Gospels. And that's right there under the Apocrypha of the Old Testament. And it tells you right here, too, that these are the documents that are going to be found sealed away. And I can't wait to just read this lesson with you, because it's right out of the book of Jubilees. It re-says Genesis and Exodus. I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to show you right here on the lesson. It's so easy to show you where it is in the Bible. You'll think I'm reading from the Bible, and you'll go, well, daggone, dude. Like, there's the cover, and I write all over mine. So, boom. it starts listing off these angels, and of course everything that's cool is seven. So boom, there's seven angels, and that word Malachim, Malach right there is them. But now this is the where you're going to find this in the Bible right here, and of course the part in Genesis where it says, it's the host of heaven, the heavens and earth were finished, and all the host of them. Right there, I thought that was interesting. Now you start to get a little different level to it and go, you mean the host of heaven? So share this out to your friends, because it's got some explaining to some of the things that we hear, like the let us make them in our image, and who are the host of heaven mentioned here. But also in Nehemiah right here, chapter 9, it said, thou art the Lord alone. Thou hast made heaven, the heaven of heavens, with all their hosts, and the host of heaven worshipeth thee. So just know that it's not a singular thing, that he has him and the host of heavens. And the book of Jubilees is one of the most, it's not frowned upon. It's professionally respected. I just want to point a couple of things out about the book of Jubilees before we start reading it. You can go download this first chapter, but please share this out to your friends. We're reading the sixth most popular book found in Qumran in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it is one of the most academically and scientifically verified documents. Nobody went, ooh, man, that part of it's crap. Nobody did that. They just went, it's just like Genesis, it's just like Exodus that you see now. It's word for word, all the Old Testament, but the book of Jubilees and the book of Enoch were taken out specifically by the church, and for some reason we never got to see them, and now they're been released after the Second World War when they were found and verified and said, yeah, man, these were put in a cave before the time of Jesus, and they were sealed away before the time of Jesus, and it just backs up exactly what it says, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed until the time of the end. And please begin. Logan, I love you, man. You know what? My wife tells me to mingle for about 25 to 30 minutes, and she sends me a little thing and tells me when to go. And if you're good, you do what your wife tells you to do. It allows people to, hey, it's 8 o'clock, and hey, I just got there, because a lot of people are on the same schedule that my 27-year-old son is on, and that can be 10 minutes late. AJ is, I love him. He got a new baby now, boy. I mean to tell you, he's got a reason to come in. He acts like he's sleeping late now. I was like, going, you up all night long? What's funny about that? But anyway, we're talking about the armor of God. That's why we love Gigi. She know what? She keeps me tightened up. I certainly appreciate that. Everything that she does. And because it allows me not to have to pay attention to things. And for me to just focus. She keeps, man, you got to see her. She's got little skinny. She ain't big enough to beat nothing up. And but she keeps all the things from being thrown at me, and allows me to be me. And she's like that shield right there. And she's actually the arm and all that stuff. I would be like back here, and she'd be pop, 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 little Pentecostal Gigi over there. And I'm like 3 times bigger than she is. I am. That is. But it's not just a book of Jubilees. So it's just so much more informative. And I just want you to know where it's saying all this in the Holy Bible. So please go download that free copy of it. And also, too, while you're there, on my link tree, these are all the other links, and that is the big give right there. That's the big give. That's the calendar. If you're interested in the calendar, please share this out to your friends so that they know to go to my link tree, download a copy of the calendar, the big give, because we'll give one of these things away at the end of the month. And I got a picture of this thing, I think. You hold it. Oh, man, I didn't. Dadgummit. If you, yeah, there it is. I didn't zoom into it, but if you click on the big give, it has all the address. All you got to do is send me a postcard. It's free, absolutely free. 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 You just send me a postcard. Trick is I want you to be present to win. And so if you'll send me, and blessed dad, I got your piece of mail the other day. So post box works right there. The address is right behind me, and it's on the big give. So please click on that one right there, and we'll give away one of my handmade works. It may be there's 6 codexes right there, and then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Bibles, and those have been stamped with the initials on them, and those are getting ready to be stamped, and those just got gilded and all. So they're through the process, and we've got them where they're going out pretty fast now. And 2 of them to Australia, 1 to Ireland. And so that's a great thing. I love sending them out. But I love the fact that the Book of Jubilees, if you go over to some of my other connections, you can see all the chapters of it and all what we did last year. And this allows us to go over the Book of Jubilees 2, chapter 2 right now. Let me pull up the pictures of it, and I'll get started. I will. If y'all haven't downloaded it, because this is my copy of it right here. And you can tell because that's the printed version. See where I write on all my stuff? So that way you can sort of underline yours. If you don't mind, go print you off a copy unless you can see this. And all this pictures and all this stuff, these are all designed for you to use and write on and manipulate. I want you to. I want you to. Let's learn like just the Book of Jubilees together. This, right there, page 1. Page 1, chapter 1, verse 1. Let me read this to you real quick. And it came to pass in the first year of the exodus of the children of Israel out of Egypt, in the 3rd month, on the 16th day of the month, that Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Come up to me on the mountain, and I will give you 2 tables of stone, of the Torah and of the commandment, which I have written, that you may teach them. Now, I'm going to tell you, a book that is to be considered a canon means it has to say who wrote it, and it has to be useful for teaching and correcting. And that's exactly what the Book of Jubilees says in the very first chapter. So that was chapter 1. We just started right here with the new year. You can see the people got the Passover. Let me get over here so that red light is not right behind me. And I'm going to start reading, and I'll put my head right there in front of that. Thoughts on Philippians? I can't go and just jump on that, Zoe. Is I got to sort of keep on topic, and the Book of Jubilees chapter 2 is where we're getting ready to take our lesson, and that's what it's all typed up for. But I'll get some of the people to look that up, and if you don't mind, we'll get started with the lesson and proceed from there, because I want y'all to show the relevance in what this is saying, and then where it's written in our own Bible. You'll see these blocks all throughout the lesson, and it's super cool. And we got that comment pinned, so I'll just stop and read it. Keep it pinned up there, Jill. I haven't got my Bible. Sorry, I did not have my Bible with me. Keep that comment. It was Ephesians something. I went all the way to go get I'm confused. Are we monotheistic right now? So this confuses me. What is Explain that word. All I'm doing is reading the Dead Sea Scrolls. I'm not telling you believe this or jump up and down and think anything about. I'm reading you a book of the Dead Sea Scrolls that is very valid, very true. So it's not here to cause confusion, but it's definitely here to open your eyes and tell you exactly what this is saying. Because you got to understand an explanation to let us make them in our image, and the other angels that were presenting and talking to people that came up to Mary and spoke with them, or that were present in the book of Job. Those angels that were standing there in the presence at the beginning of the book of Job. This is adding just some names to that and what they represent. So it's not trying to train anybody into, hey, this is the new way of thinking. This is just a more detailed version of the book of Genesis, and it doesn't conflict with it. And in each instance, I'm going to read to you right there out of the book of Genesis. And this is just one or two of the examples. I actually have a whole bunch of examples of where these are cross compared when we start talking about them. And they're all throughout the Bible. So please understand that it's a very good lesson. This is not, hey, the Dead Sea Scrolls are just hogwash. The Dead Sea Scrolls are some of the most scientifically verified and academically studied, globally respected ancient manuscripts on the planet. And the book of Jubilees that we're reading right now is actually the sixth most popular scroll that was found there. And all of these books right here read exactly as they do in the Bible that you have right now. And they were buried in a cave for 2,000 years. Just ironically, the church decided that you did not need to see this one or Enoch 1 right there. They removed them from your thing. So they were found right after the Second World War, and that's all I got to say about that. Boom. Let me get over here, and I'm going to start right there on the first page of the lesson. And if anybody doesn't got any questions, and when you print it out, all of my stuff is in size 12 font, so it's real easy. It's double space and all that stuff, so that you can underline and make your notes. And like I said, when they start naming off angels and all, I print them right there. So I'm going to put my head right here in front of the picture, and we'll just go. Were they ever in the Torah? Were they ever in the Torah? The Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible, and the word the Torah means the law. That's why at the beginning of the book of Jubilees, when it says he gave him the law and the commandments. And it's just even tells about the day, even right here on page 2, it starts talking about how to keep up with the days, and the people erred, and they changed how they kept up with the days. They started keeping up with the moon. But let's read that right here. We're going to read right here on Jubilees chapter 2. And I went and got my Bible for something, but if that matches something, or I need to read that verse, interrupt me, and I don't mind doing that. Just know I'm not reading y'all something, and I'm not trying to it says all scripture is God-breathed and useful for teaching and rebuking. So take it as that. And I just want you to know, I've already read through this book. I've published it. I have sent out hundreds, if not more than that, copies of this. I've edited it. There is nowhere in here does it say anything weird. And you can talk about the angels that are right there at the beginning of the book of Job. It just so happens in this book, it tells you what those angels, what they represented. And you can hear about the angels, 3 being on the right and 4 being on the left, and the 7 angels you can hear right here. So there's 7 of them. All right, that's my cue to go. My wife said go. Do what she says. Jubilees chapter 2. Moses is given the complete history from creation. And I'm going to say angels a couple of times because Malak right there is the exact same word for angels. And the angel of the presence spoke to Moses according to the word of Yahweh, saying, write the complete history of the creation, how in 6 days Yahweh Almighty finished all his works and all that he created, and kept Sabbath on the 7th day, and hallowed it for all ages, and appointed it as a sign for all of his works. For on the first day he created the heavens, which are above the earth, and the waters, and all the spirits which serve before him, the Malachim of the presence, and the Malachim of sanctification, and the Malachim of the spirit of fire, and the Malachim of the spirit of winds, and the angel of the spirit of the clouds, and of darkness, and of snow, and of hail, and of hoar frost, and the angel of the voices of the thunder of the lightnings, and the angel of the spirits of the cold and of the heat, and of the winter and the spring and of the autumn and of the summer, and all the spirits of his creatures which are in the heavens and on the earth. He created the abysses and the darkness, eventide and night, and the light, dawn and day, which he prepared in the knowledge of his heart. And thereupon he saw his works and praised him, and lauded him on the account of his works, for the 7 great works that he did create on the first day. And there were 7 angels created on that first day. And that's what leads them into the creation of the man and the woman. When it says, let us create, these things are helping him. These are the angels of the spirit of fire and of sanctification, the angel of presence and what have you. And it talks about these same 7 angels in the book of Job. So they were present, and Satan was among them. And right there in the first chapter of Job. So these dudes are just sort of spelled out a little bit who they are. What this study guide does, it tells you, and it mentions those hosts, those people that are helping and that are there. I say people, the angels. Thus the heavens and the earth. I'm reading right here. This is out of your Bible, this in your nightstand. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all of his work which he had made. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because it was, and he rested on the work of God, which was of God, created and made. Nehemiah is the next one right here, and that's Old Testament. Nehemiah chapter 9. Thou even art Lord alone. Thou hast made heaven, and thou hast made heaven, the heaven of heavens, with all their host, and the host of heaven worshipeth thee. So understand that throughout, and there's several other verses that go on that you could just keep going with this. And there were so many examples of how it's almost like we're reading right out of the book of Genesis and Exodus. So just understand those are very palatable things, and it's not anything that I have problem with, especially when you can see that and hear it again right there in the Bible. Let me change the page and you can see it done again. So boom, boom. See right up there? I'm going to read you something right here, and you can just see right where it is the same thing in the Bible. And, it takes me a good minute to put this together. But when we start talking about creating the sun and the moon and all this stuff, it just literally, you can read it in the book of Jubilees, or that's why they called it the Little Genesis when I showed you that stuff. So share this out to your friends, because I think it's a much more interesting version of Genesis, and it gives you a lot more explanation to some detail. And I think you could use it. It's a great learning tool, and especially when you can back up and verify all the stuff right there in the Bible. And on the 2nd day, he created the firmament in the midst of the waters. The waters were divided on that day. Half of them went above. I like where it says them. Half of them. It's just weird, because it says the waters where the horse sitteth are peoples and nations and tongues. That's in the book of Revelations. So just know where it says half of them went up above, and half of them went down below the firmament. That was in the midst over the face of the whole earth. And this was the only work Yahweh created on the 2nd day. And on the 3rd day, he commanded the waters to pass from off the face of the whole earth into one place, and the dry land to appear. And the waters did so as he commanded. Ooh, man, and the waters where the horse sitteth were peoples and nations and tongues. And the waters did so as he commanded them. And they retired from off the face of the earth into one place and outside of this firmament. Ooh, crap. And the dry land appeared. And on that day he created for them all the seas, according to their separate gathering places, and all the rivers, and the gatherings of the waters, in the mountains, and on all the earth, and all the lakes, and all the dew of the earth, and on the seeds which is sown, and the sprouting things, and the fruit bearing trees, and the trees of the wood, and the garden of Eden, in Eden, and all. And these four great works Yahweh created on the third day. I'm reading right here. And on the fourth day he created the sun and the moon and the stars, and set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and the night, and divided the light from the darkness. Now you saw up above where it said he created the light. That's the beginning, and now he created the sun and the moon. That's the Bible regurgitates that story, exactly the same thing. And it says right here in Genesis, it's written in white. So this thing actually comes out real good when you print it out. But it says, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for the signs and the seasons, and for the days and years. And it's just a great comparison to see how we're reading through Jubilees, and you're reading exactly through. So please share this out with your friends. And I can't invite anybody while I'm reading this lesson, or just go sideways, and there's like 8 pages on it. But when I get done, maybe I can talk to some people, and I'll be glad to. But I don't want people to, I'm not reading this to have a combat mission with you, because the book of Jubilees has already been scrutinized, and we've already done this. So this is really good. I want to show you. This is right where we start messing up too, man. Boom. I read the sun right there, and I want to point this out too. So please share this out to your friends, because this is right where we screwed up. Messed up. And Yahweh appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days, and for Sabbaths, and for months, and for feasts, and for years, and for the Sabbaths of years, and for Jubilees, and for all the seasons of the years. He appointed the sun. And the people that make observances of the moon, they err. And there's a reason that I took a picture of this last page right here. This is in chapter 6. It's coming up right here. And it says, there are those that will make observances of the moon, and they will go wrong by 10 days. That's the Babylonians. When they captured the Jewish people, or the Hebrew people, they put them and enslaved them and made them adopt their calendar. So they have a 354-day calendar. So every 19 years, they have to install an extra month 7 times. So you do that math, and I'm from Georgia, and I'll never figure that out. But it's because they make observances of the moon, and they base everything off of their moon, and they are going to error. They're the ones that mess up. So that just got me right there to the first page of that. So, the first line. So let me go back and read it again, and y'all know what's coming up. There is doom. Adam and Eve right there. All right, now we're going to read it all over again. And Yahweh appointed the sun to be a great sign for the earth, and for days, and for Sabbaths, and for months, and for feasting, and for the years, and for the Sabbaths of years, and for Jubilees, and for all the seasons of the years. And it divides the light from the darkness, and from prosperity, that all things may prosper which shoot and grow on the earth. These 3 kinds he made on the 4th day. And on the 5th day he created great sea monsters in the depths of the waters, for these were in the first things of flesh that were created by his hands, and the fish, and everything that moves in the waters, and everything that flies, the birds, and all their kind. And the sun rose above them to prosper them, and above everything that was on the earth, everything that shoots out of the earth, and all the fruit-bearing trees, and all the flesh. And these 3 kinds he created on the 5th day. And on the 6th day he created all the animals on the earth, and all the cattle, and everything that moves on the earth. And after all this he created man, a man and a woman created he them, and gave them dominion over all this that is upon the earth, and in the seas, and over everything that flies, and over beasts, and over cattle, and over everything that moves on the earth, and over the whole earth. And over all this he gave him dominion. And these four kinds he created on the sixth day. And there all together were 22 kinds. And he finished all his work on the sixth day. All that is in heaven, and all that is on the earth, and in the seas, and in the abyss, and all that is in the light, and in the darkness, and in everything. Now, tell me, how many letters are in the Hebrew alphabet? Somebody Google that for me. Say 22. I think it's 22. 22. Right there. Where did I just read 20? 20 and 2. And these are the four kinds he created on the sixth day. I'm reading right there. On the sixth day, and there were altogether 22 kinds. So there's 22 right there. All right, so that one, and it's on the next page too. This is the kind. Y'all share this out to your friends, and then so they'll know where to go print this out. And y'all go celebrate the Sabbath, because all this ever does is go make sure you rest on the seventh day and double chill out. So that doesn't ever go build a temple or a pyramid or any of that crap. So it just says go rest. And this is the great thing. It's 8 pages, and you can just totally read along and know. You can just read right along for yourself and know that this is where it's written in the Bible. But right there, I just told you, right there, 17. And he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, which we should work 6 days, but keep Sabbath on the seventh day from all work. Dude, that's all this book preaches, man. God's book, all it does is preach that you should rest on the seventh day. And the more I do that, and the more I tell people to read God's word, that you should teach them to rest on the Sabbath day, and they should honor and do that, you should really just know it's a great, new, refreshing thing. And here it is. Here's the book of Jubilees. If I were to print it down and micro print it, and I'm going to make it so that everybody can take this camping with them or whatever they want to do, man. But you could actually just sit there and read this. It's a great book, and it's going to have these comparisons, almost like reverse psychology with the Schofield going, this is where it says all this in the Bible. Bam. So hush. You know, you can't read that. Yeah, the hell you can. It says it right there in the Bible, Genesis chapter 2. And it does say to the Sabbath and keep the Sabbath. So love thy neighbor, love God with all your heart and all your soul, love your neighbor, and keep the Sabbath, keep the Sabbath. So love thy neighbor, love God with all your heart and all your soul, love your neighbor, and keep the Sabbath, keep the seventh day. He kept the seventh day, you keep the seventh day. Dude, if you can't get that straight, let's read the 22 thing. It's going to say 22 down here about the 22 letters, and I think it's something to do with he created 22 more things. Y'all, you tell me when we go to. Oh, right there. And he gave to us a great sign, the Sabbath day, that we should work 6 days, but keep Sabbath on the seventh day from all work. And all the angels of the presence, and all the angels of the sanctification, these 2 great classes, he has bidden us to keep the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth. And he said to us, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and all these shall keep the Sabbath day. And I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and will bless them, and I will have sanctified the Sabbath day, that I do sanctify it unto myself. Even so will I bless them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their sovereign ruler. You know, you can read that right there in the Bible, that little paragraph. And I have chosen the seed of Jacob from amongst all that I have seen, and I have written him down as my firstborn son, and have sanctified him into myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Sabbath day, and they may keep the Sabbath thereon from all work. And thus he created therein a sign, in accordance which they should keep the Sabbath on the seventh day, and on to eat and to drink and to bless him with all those things he created, as he blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all the peoples, and they should keep the Sabbath together with us. So I'm reading right behind my head. And he caused his commands to ascend as a sweet savor, acceptable before him all the days. And there were 22 heads of mankind from Adam to Jacob. Right there. There's the 22 thing. So the 22 letters, y'all said there were 22 letters in the Hebrew. I knew that because I studied this Hebrew and I was remembering based off of something. So there's the 22 letters right there. So let me finish reading that verse. It's 23. And there were 22 heads of mankind from Adam to Jacob. That's weird. 22 letters. And 22 kinds of work were made unto the seventh day. This is blessed and Kodesh, and the former also is blessed and Kodesh. And this one serves with that one for sanctification and for blessing. And to this Jacob and his seed was granted that they should always be blessed, and the Kodesh ones. And for a first testimony and a Torah, even he that is sanctified and blessed the Sabbath day on the seventh day. So this is just telling you, keep the Sabbath day on the seventh day, keep it rest. And the 22 things, 22 kinds of mankind, heads of mankind from Adam to Jacob. And then just a verse before was he made 22 kinds of animals. Yeah, you know what? This is all just fun, man. You can have a ball digging up into that, man, and seeing what those letters represent, what those animals, what they represent. And I have a blast doing that. But this is a great project to do, like whenever you. It's 8 pages long too. Pretty cool. So here, let me go. Keep going. Do it. Dude, I was just on that. Boom. And this is, let me show you the picture. Dude's talking to the people. Yeah. I just want you to know I put these pictures here so that I can put my head over here and not really block as much of the writing. So they're sort of strategic. You'll see them in the bottom corners. I do everything for a reason. I want y'all, and you know what's cool? Let me take the camera off for 1 second. You know what's cool? I made this, and it's a tiny book of Jubilees, and I'm going to make it soon. But it has all the same pictures, dude. And you can read it. I mean, I can read it. I'm 61 years old, and I love reading, size 12 font. And but you can read this, and it's actually, I'm going to make a whole series of all these and the other Dead Sea Scrolls. That way you can sort of plug and play. You can take, it's like taking cassette tapes. Yeah, I know. I tied it. You got to make this thing, because if you make something like this and you start pulling it apart, you see how those strings, all my books that I make, they're all cut and tied. I didn't want to cut this with a skill saw because I didn't want to stick my hand that close to the saw. So I drilled these, and then I just stitched it, and then I tied it. So you just break that. Jackwagon, you broke that? Okay, send it back to me. I'll warranty that for you. I know. You could use that. I want to see it. Listen, that's a chunk of paper. And I bet you, like at 100 yards, that you couldn't shoot through it with like a 22 or something. And if it saves your life, I can sell it as a vest. A tribulation trench vest with scripture. In case you get hit and it goes through, then you go, oh, geez. All right. Keep going. You got focus. I got to read the last page. The guy was preaching. It's this one. He just do that one. Cool. I'm going to put my head right in front of that guy right there, and I'm going to start right up there at the top. One sip. And he created the heaven and the earth and everything that he created in 6 days. And Yahweh made the seventh day Kodesh for all his works. Therefore, he commanded it on its behalf. Whoever does so any work thereon shall die. And he that also defiles it shall surely die. Wherefore do you command the children of Israel to observe this day, that they may keep it Kodesh, and do know thereon any work, and not to defile it as to more Kodesh than any other days, that it is more Kodesh than any other days? And whosoever profanes it it shall surely die. And whosoever does thereon any work shall surely die eternally, that the children of Israel may observe this day throughout their generations, and not be rooted out of the land. For it is a Kodesh day and a blessed day. It gets better, trust me. And everyone who observes it and keeps the Sabbath thereon from all of his work will become Kodesh and blessed throughout all the days like unto us. Declare and say to the children of Israel the Torah of this day, both that they should keep the Sabbath thereon, and that they should not forsake it in any error of their hearts, and that it is not lawful to do any work thereon which is unseemly, or to do thereon their own pleasure, that they should not prepare thereon anything before to be eaten or drunk, that it is not lawful to draw water, or to bring or to take on thereunto their gates, or any burden which they have not prepared for themselves on the sixth day in their dwelling. And they should not bring in or take out from their house to house on that day. For that day is more Kodesh and blessed than any Jubilee day of the Jubilees. On this we kept the Sabbath in the heavens. Before it we made known to any flesh to keep the Sabbath thereon on the earth. And the Creator of all things blessed it. But he did not sanctify all peoples and nations to keep the Sabbath thereon, but Israel alone. Thereon alone permit and to eat and to drink and to keep the Sabbath thereon on the earth. And the Creator of all things blessed this day which he created, from the blessing and making it Kodesh and splendid above all days. This Torah and testimony was given to the children of Israel as a law forever until their generations. So it just says this was done for them to celebrate. That's what it said on the Passover. Remember we read during the Passover, it said this holiday is to be celebrated at the temple or in the tabernacle in front of Yahweh by the select people, and they are to eat it in his presence. And they didn't do any of that. So just know that they haven't really gotten that right for quite some time. And as always, with the new pictures that are in the Bible, I included this one because it said that Jacob and the descendants of Jacob. Know that the first place that Jesus Christ talked to somebody was at Jacob's well, and this is a lady at Jacob's well, and this is Jacob's well. And I can't see the comment. You should do a test night like quizzes to help us to remember better. Okay, well, I'll ask some questions and on some of this stuff too. But what I want you to realize that it's what's the biggest quiz about it is that it's really written in the Bible. I just think Jubilees says it better. I mean, don't y'all think so? Or we could do. I tell you what. I could take this and create trivia cards from chapter 1 and chapter 2, and then that way after I read the lesson I'll do trivia cards from the preceding chapters. Yeah, because I wouldn't want them to be just random and all over the page, because I want y'all to be like chapter 1 and chapter 2. Chapter 3 is a trip, man, and then chapter 6 is where they tells us how y'all are all just going to lay this calendar out in chapter 6 and go, man, daggum, dude. So what was Pope Gregory thinking? I don't know, but it was to get us to screw up the Sabbath. I mean, that's the commandment that they rewrote. And that's what we were just supposed to keep the Sabbath. He's like going, hey, dude, can you rest? This is Jacob's well. There's a chick. She's going to get some water. And I just wanted you to know that that little church right here, that inset of that picture is like in that picture somewhere. That was done by the Crusaders. Let me get my chair out of the way. That was done by the Crusaders. You can screenshot that. But those are in the new edition of the Bible, there's like 50 of those pictures in there. And they are in, let me see. That's my grandson, David. He is a little Gregory He is, man. Hurricane David right there. Yes. He's war slap out, buddy. Good picture, AJ. Making Bibles. Right there. That's the Bible that has all the pictures in it. And it's 5 inches thick, and about a half inch of it is pictures, and everything's on parchment. So it's all stone parchment, but all those pictures are printed on parchment. That codex right there, it has all these maps in it. I made sure that it had all that. And it's where, like these maps, this is modern Jerusalem. You see the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and they're going, man, that's where Jesus Christ's tomb was. And you're like going, all right, now watch this. There's the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, there's the temple, and there's the pool. Boom. That's the tomb of David. There's the temple, there's the pool, there's the tomb of David. They've moved all this crap, man. And if you go, I'll show you right there to answer that question, Lily. Because all you got to do is right where my lessons are, because the lessons are free. You can go and get and download the lessons, and that means to start there. So if you go to my bio page and click on that right there, that'll pop up. This will pop up, and then click on my link tree for all the lessons. And the lesson for tonight was right there. And the answer to your question is a codex is scrolls that were laid flat and bound. They're the first word that they use for books. And then that Apocrypha Bible and all is very cool. Let me show you some more information on that. But all of my stuff is right there, and I want to show you. That codex has, can you read all of them? It's Jubilees, Enoch 1, the Book of Jasher. The Book of Jasher is 1.5 inches thick, man. That's a big book. And your Ethiopian Bible does not have the Book of Jasher in it. No, it doesn't. I had the book. I bought the big one with all 1,200 books. Then it got that one. It's got a SKU code inside of it and said, we're not printing that crap. Why? Because it would have made this thing 3 inches thick. So the Book of Jasher is not in there. I print it. It's in that codex. And then the Book of Gad the Seer and the Gospel of Nicodemus. This is the dude that wrote The Descent into the Underworld and the Acts of Pilate. He was sort of like a traitor to the Jewish people that had just convicted Jesus Christ. And it tells about him helping with the burial of Jesus and then witnessing what happened after he came out of the grave. And the earth did quake, and the rocks did rent, and the graves were opened, and the bodies of many saints which slept arose. Okay, I will look. We still download chapter 1? No, I'm going to take that off. But if you're on my Patreon, that will be right there. And AJ's clipping them so that it's got the live where we're listening, so you can go do that. That's where we're going to immediately put that. And some of the other stuff that we did last year, he'll be pumping that out onto the other outlets. So he'll sort of out with the old and in with the new, and we're doing Jubilees all over again. And it's so cool. This time, though, I'm sort of out with the old and in with the new, and we're doing Jubilees all over again. And it's so cool. This time, though, I'm not worried about reading the information to you. I'm more so worried about telling you where it says this in the Bible so that you can defend it. So that's, a lot of people go, well, that's not in the Bible. Yeah, actually, you can just see in any of these examples, and I likened this, man. I listed just a couple of things. When you download this, let me see. That's the Book of Jubilees, and that's where it says the exact same thing in the Holy Bible. And that's only 2 examples, and there's probably more that talk about, there's not probably more, there's several more that talk about the different hosts of heaven, and like the book of Job at the beginning of it, where the angels were there and Satan was among them. I mean, it is, where it says Malak, that is an angel. So just know the 7 angels is what that's reading. So y'all go download that. It's super double barrel cool. But I'll be glad to answer some of your questions, man, if y'all do have some, because I've got this right in front of me, and if y'all want to download it, I'll show you where to do that. My phone is messed up and it won't load my new card. You know what? Look, sometimes too, the three dots at the top of it, click those three dots and it'll say open in browser. And you have to open it in the browser, and then you can do whatever you want to with it. Then you can copy it, screenshot it, take it apart, manipulate it, put your own pictures in there, and know it. But print it out and then study it this weekend. And like it says, rest in Him, and just go chill out on the Sabbath day and double barrel chill out, man. That's what I got to say. Spelled that wrong. Have you watched The Chosen? I have. I give it a 97. I give it a 97. Listen, a couple of things are out of sequence, and a couple of things like had to be ad-libbed because there was just daggum it. You just couldn't. You would have had to assumed some of those things were read, and so that being said, I think it's super cool, and I give it about a 97. I think it gives you a good idea of what was going on and what some of those characters were like. I like the what is it, the House of David. That's actually David is pretty cool. They say a lot of things that a lot of people didn't ever say, like who David's mama was and that he was a bastard. Gives him hell, boy. They do. They kick his butt, man. They were like going, that bastard's out there in the field. But I give it about a 94. But then again, they're playing a lot of David stuff, and I'm like going, okay, so demon K-pop is popular, a lot of demon stuff, and every other kid show is a David show. And I mean, there's a lot of people on here that know what we've read about King David, but do you also have a cipher Bible? I do, I guarantee you. I probably spelled that wrong. I do have a cipher Bible, and I like the way that they actually, this is how this word is said in this day. And it's all about the word Jesus. And people will say, what's his name? What's his real name? Jesus means Yahweh saves. That word, Jesus, means Yahweh saves. Greg means watchful. So if we actually used to use words the way that they used to use words, your name wasn't like what color pistachio you were that day. Your name was what you did. And, it was like, and he named him after the sorrow of my mother's heart, or my father will make me strong, or Manasseh, which is what Joseph named his son, means forget my father's house. And that's for selling me down in Egypt. You suck for that. Forget my daddy's house. That's his son's name. He gets a division of the land, by the way, Manasseh. And I was like going, man, he suckered y'all in there for all that bread. And then y'all just y'all gave him everything for this bread, man. I don't know. That dude must have had a Panera down there and traded everything he traded. They even traded their lives. They said, we have nothing left but our souls to trade you for this bread. And then, real bread only lasts a day. I want to rock the boat, but missing the books are more informative. I don't want to rock the boat, but the missing books are more informative. Yeah, a lot more informative. Not like what we're going to read in Jubilees. I think it's the next chapter where it says Adam and Eve, their sons Cain and Abel, and then the daughters Azura and Awan and Azura, and it lists out the two sisters. It tells you who Cain left with, and it's a better detail of a story. And I don't know. I think it's a lot more detail. And it doesn't ask you to believe in a totem pole or a pyramid or Annie shaking a snake, or it doesn't tell you to go slay the Elimelechs and la 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 la, kill these people. It doesn't say any of that, man. It says that like I got this. You do you know you do you boo. You do that Sabbath day, man, and you won't rock the boat. That's all you got to do. You have videos talking about your thoughts on King David. About every other one. I mean, somewhere along the line, somebody just goes, why King David? He was a man after God's own heart. And I'm like going, bro climbed up the mountain of God and slayed the lame and the blind that were hated of his soul. And then he built a palace with the king of Tyre on top of the mountain of God. You stop, man. You slayed the lame and the blind that were hated of your soul. Yeah, well, when Hezekiah sealed up the tunnel in the water in the Gihon Springs that all those people were going to when David was the king, before he slayed the lame and the blind that were hated of his soul, those were all the dudes that Melchizedek were trying to help. So Melchizedek would come out with his bread and his wine. He met Abraham, and that's just like where Shem lived. Shem / Melchizedek. Noah lived there with Shem in the best part of the land. And we're studying a Hebrew Bible, which is all the way down the street, about 3 generations underneath that, which are the sons of Eber. And I'm like going, all this Shem is telling the story from Noah. They wrote these 2 tables of stone. Right here, I'll show you real quick. I got a map. Right there. Right there, Peanuts. Look how little they are. Look at this is the law and the commandments. One's out of stone, so it will survive the floods, and one's out of brick, so it will survive the fire. And this was done by Methuselah, Noah, and Shem. These 2 dudes got on the boat, man. All right, and they lived, Methuselah and Shem, and they wrote all that crap. Look how tall those dudes were. All right. 15 foot tall. No, one thing right here. Let me show you about this boat. Where? Oh, well. That boat, right there, the boat. It's 3 stories tall and 45 foot in total height. That means that each floor of the boat is 15 foot, okay? So every floor is not the giraffe floor. And I've never been on a boat where I went, damn, dude, you got 5 foot ceilings in your boat? Yeah. No. So you would never do that. So just know that that boat was 3 stories tall and 45 foot tall. So each one of them were 15 feet. And that sort of puts this in a better perspective, thinking that those dudes were about 15 foot tall that made those 2 things. And those dudes right there are the ones that made it. I know. You know what? I told AJ. I said, you know, the Antichrist won't like women. And he goes, what? Where'd you read that? Let me see. It's like, where'd you come up with that crap from? I was like, oh no, man. It won't. Got that scripture right here. Oh. Yes, Daniel. It was Daniel. You know what, Mama? If you'll send it to me, but it was Daniel, like 11:30, and he won't have the desire, won't have regard or the desire of women. I didn't reduce it down so I can play that. I'm sorry. But we were reading out of Jubilees, and it is to be enumerated amongst the holy documents right there. You can just read that for yourself. This is the Apocrypha of the Old Testament, and that's what we were just reading out of. And if you want a copy of that, it's right there inside of that book. Inside the top of that is Jubilees. Then Jasher, Enoch, Jasher, Gad, and the Gospel of Nicodemus. I love the map. Everyone that comes over goes through it. Dude, I'm telling you what, those maps right there, those came out of this old Bible. And you know what's funny? Let me see it. And the picture, if you own one of my Bibles, you'll see a picture of this map. And if you go inside, you'll see this much of this book too. I literally took the picture of this page in 4K resolution, and you can see a little bit of this. I leave stuff like that so that you'll know those things were right from the direct source. And this is all of this. I didn't get this idea on my own. This comes out of that Prince James Version Bible. And in the back of it, it tells you, I'll show you, the Apocrypha of the Old Testament. And then that is what I just highlighted, and it says, there's Enoch and Jubilee should be enumerated. And they listed it at the very end, the very last thing, like they were going to try to leave it off the list. But then, yeah, y'all share this out to your friends, because I don't want them to think, hey, man, where'd you come up with that crap from? The books of the New Testament Apocrypha, right here, is where I came up with all of the descent into the underworld is right there. That's the Gospel of Nicodemus, and the descent into the underworld, that's, I'll show you. That's that book right there. The Gospel of Nicodemus, the descent into the underworld. And then the Gad, man, that's got the, like when you read about the 3 books, if you read about Revelation, Handamania, I love it. I do. Damn. I'm so excited. I got too excited, man. I got too excited. I'm so mean. I'm so mean. I could kill people, Dad. Do you actually think we're in the end times, like Jesus' many returns? Yeah, I feel like that these times are pretty much tribulation. I mean, just imagine if you lived in Cuba. Have you ever been to Cuba? Imagine if you lived in Cuba right now, man. Somebody just rifling through your stuff, dude. You sitting there sleeping on no electricity in an island, and I feel so sorry for those people. Dear Jesus Christ, keep your hand on every one of those people. But I mean, you would think that that's bad when they shut your power grid off and you were sitting there and you couldn't keep up with the world and you couldn't look at your text, and when you went to sleep at night, there were no police protection and no power grid, nobody to call. I guarantee you, man, you would think this is a lot of tribulation going on. And then all the judgment that's happening right now. I mean, look at the people that are being judged. Look at the people that are being, questioned and falling from grace, man, way up the tree. And then look at all these, God, can you say this crap? I'm like, dude, let's do this. He's on their forehead, but that mark is coming out of his wrist, and that's not in the palm of his hand. It's right coming out of his wrist, and he's touching this dude's forehead. And I'm just like, I swallow all these people, dude. But like, just imagine when all of the Epstein people get their court date. And I mean, this guy just put this up there. This is super double weird, man. That guy's just double. He lost a lot of crap with me, man. Sure did. Here's what we got to do. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. That's in Matthew. Now, let me tell you something. trying to get you a small version of a book, trying to get it to where we can all read this. I'm not saying everybody needs to try to do this, but everybody needs to understand that if we'd been doing it right for so long, then there wouldn't be a problem and he wouldn't be coming back. But what I'm reading out of the first couple of the books of Jubilees, I know why the governors and the leaders and the rulers of this world, which is what we're fighting against, not the spiritual wickedness, but it is the governors and the rulers of this world. I know why they hid the book of Jubilees. I know why they wanted to corrupt the times. It tells you the perfect calendar. They wanted us to throw off the Sabbath days. They wanted us to go by the moon. They wanted us to count all of our holidays by the moon. And they wanted us to just ruin the calendar and to shift the days and cause confusion and not know what time it is. And damn it, I know. I've read the book of Jubilees. I not only just read it, man, I actually took it apart and made it size 12 font, put all these pictures into it, manipulated it, saw when the picture pushed the text off the page, had to put it up by that, read it 65,000 times because of that stupid crap. God, it burned into me. And then I put that together and taught it for a year. And now I'm reading it again, and it's like, holy crap. Now I'm comparing it to the Bible, and it says exactly what's in the Bible right now, man. And it's just me and you. We're putting these lessons together. It says those dudes people are going to make observances of the moon and error by 10 days. That's the Babylonians. And then it's this 364-day calendar. It actually lays out into 4 seasons with 91 days in each one of the 4 seasons divided by 50 into 52 weeks. And it just works perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I love doing this. I put this lesson together, and the fact that I put like just these examples of where it talks about these hosts of heaven, these are 2 examples out of the Bible, but my research I've got, I don't know, 5 or 6 examples right here of where it talks about the host. How we created that. Exodus, Genesis. It's an amazing it's another great version of the story. And this doesn't turn to the left or right and crash into a tree. We've already read it all year long. It's just a much clearer. And on the last week when we read the last chapter, I asked everybody's opinion that had been there. People had been there for all 50 classes. And they said this is a clearer and better version of the Bible. And I just want you to know that last week we read the first chapter where it said God wrote this and gave it to Moses on the mountain. And I just want you to know it's just a better explanation to me. Jasher is good too, man. Jasher is... I'd rather read the book of Jasher than the sleepy part of the Bible that skips over how the people of Jacob really messed up. Jasher is, man, they pull the pin out of the grenade and throw that thing, dude, right in the pile. Those dudes are scream loud enough to be heard into the next country. But I want you to know that you were just saying something about the work. Putting that work so that you can see this throughout it, where the scriptures and what we're reading is matched in the scriptures. Go print the study guide out and study it this weekend on the Sabbath. Share this out to your friends. Go to my bio page and click on my link tree right there and click on that link tree. And then right there is all my work, man. That's right there. Those things are free right here. And a lot of people ask questions about, hey, where did I get some of your work and your other stuff? Those are the codexes and all. And those are the books that I make. I hand make all of those stuff. Me and AJ sit right there and do it. And if you want to wait, you can send me a postcard. It's absolutely free. There's the big give. And you can send me a postcard. Click on that. It'll print out exactly what to do. And then that lesson today, there it is printed out. Nice and clean. and then you can read right along this weekend and read the book of Jubilees and then read right where it is in the Bible and use this as a study guide. It'll be great for you to listen to. And go back over. AJ will put it up on the Patreon. But I'm going to wake up on Saturday at 10 a.m. and do this all over again. So, yeah, I miss you. I'm sorry. I'm going to get the study guide. Go do it. Please do. Go get that study guide and read it. But just know, oh, daggone, here's right where it says the same thing in the Bible. So just as you read it, you'll see where the pictures, and then I put little boxes where it tell you every bit of it's right there in the Bible. And then I included that right there, that Jacob's well, because it talk about the children of Jacob and all that stuff. And that the Crusaders, you can see in the text right there that tells about it, the Crusaders built that church, and they dug that well out of bedrock, straight into the bedrock. So, you know what? That was such a great idea for y'all to come up with me to do trivia questions based off of the chapters that we read. So just know that Saturday I'll have that's what we'll do. Hallelujah. Saturday will be trivia day. And we'll see if y'all studied the lesson. And so Saturday will be our trivia thing. That is such a great... Yeah. And then we can sort of interact with people and answer and ask questions. I love that. I love that. I love working with y'all. I learn too, man. And, you know, you read the first page of the Bible and it says, let us make man in our image. And they created them, man and woman, they created them both. And then on the second page of the Bible, I guess they got that messed up, and God created Adam with his own hands. Y'all stop that. Y'all got mankind going on over there. Y'all was supposed to watching, you stupid. My son has a recital Saturday, so we will record it, and if you go to my Patreon, it will be there. AJ, he's pretty good about loading those up, and the study guides and all are there too. And thank you, man. I've been teaching this book of Jubilees, and it just came to me, let me teach the book of Jubilees again, but every time I say it in the book of Jubilees, let me show you 5 places to go find that same thing in the Bible so that you don't know I'm going, just running my mouth. So great to learn and laugh at the same time. I tell you what, we got to laugh at this, man, because sometimes, y'all would kick me out of church, man. Y'all would kick me right out of your church. As soon as I said, how do you get 3 days and 3 nights out of putting in the grave on Friday night and waking up Sunday morning? Just damn. I mean, I don't know, man. No, I'm not giving you my $100 that time. You can't add. I know. They would. They'd kick me right out of church. And I was like going, listen, I'm going to teach the book of Jubilees. It's the lesser Genesis. Okay. But it names Adam and Eve, their 2 boys and their 2 girls, and who Cain left with and all that stuff. So the whole, did Cain sleep with his mama? Just cuts a lot of that crapola out of there. Dad. Come on. Don't bark at me then. Church is not, you know what? I love church, and I love the vibration of church, and I love going to church. I love the music. I love whenever it gets going. I love standing up there. I love everybody that's involved, and I love, and it gets going. But you got to keep your eyes open, man. And if somebody says, all right, everybody talk in tongues, and then everybody just jumps up and starts going, and you do that on cue, that's not cool. If you got somebody all of a sudden, man, that just busts open and just hits it like a dog, man, and just, hey, okay, you just, hey, man, you know what? You're setting on fire. You're going, buddy. You're doing it. You do it. I did that. Set up in a movie theater. I have no idea what I said. They chopped Paul's head off. And right there at the end of what's that movie? Y'all have heard my story before. They chop his head off at the end, and he went when he was Saul. He was a bad guy, and one of the first people that he did a bad thing to was this little girl, and she was the first person to invite him into heaven. The Apostle Paul, yeah, she was the first person to invite him into heaven or to welcome him into heaven. Came running up to him, and man, when I saw that first person that he did that to come running up to him to invite him into heaven, I lost my mind. I stood up in the middle of the movie theater, and I don't even know what noise I made. My wife, everybody was like, oh, that big redneck just popped off. I was like, going, man, that wrecked my brain. I was like, the last person that you would expect to invite you into heaven was the first person that literally ran up to him like it was a lost daddy. I was like, whoa, man. It just made my brain short circuit. I did. Soul ties. I know. I would love to just see that type of forgiveness, man. I mean, and to see it happen right there in front of you. And I got my buddy. We're making some turns as we talk about religion. So I think as I get to talk with people one-on-one, it really, is it true there's a firmament above so that we can't get to the moon? Well, it actually says that he put the sun and the moon in the firmament. Inside of the firmament. Did it? Yeah. Doesn't it say put the sun and the moon in the firmament? Yup. So, I mean, there in that thing. And God made a firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament and the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God created and God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the first day. The evening and the morning were the first day. God said, let there be waters. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the light. So the sun and the moon are inside of the firmament. And that's Genesis chapter 1, verse 13. And the evening and the morning were the third day. That's the end of it. And then verse 14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule over the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also, and God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give the light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. That was Wednesday. Mr. Trumpet Greg, that would you like to be if you were working for God, an angel? What would you like to be if you working for God or an angel? I feel like I'm working for him now. I feel like I'm a messenger. I feel like I'm a trumpet. I feel like I relentlessly try to make books and to get this message out in a reasonable, digestible version. And I keep trying to learn more out of it and how it's related to everything we've been taught. And I have to teach you that. And I feel like I am very much so part of being a spokesperson and somebody that can talk to you. And I find that I talk to people one-on-one because, when I used to sell things, it's like feeling a fish when they start to bite, and when you can't pull, and then you know when to pull, and then you know when to reel, and you got to know when to talk to somebody, and you got to find out when they're not listening, and when they need some leading, and when you need to read them where the word, and to sense that, and it's all in your hands, and it's all 101. And when I talk to somebody 101, I can understand where they start to have questions. And if at the very beginning where they start to have questions, before it can manifest, I'll snuff that question out and go, here's where fixes this. And it's just literally, I mean, if I were the demons that were in the world, the fallen angels that were in the world, I would have definitely dropped off Enoch 1, and I would have dropped off Jubilees. And it would have caused confusion as to the days and the months and the seasons and how to keep up with a calendar. And it would have just started everything to be confusing, and people would have messed up the days, and they succeeded in doing that. And all of these popes and these Pope Gregory and changing the calendar, they were just literally had to be embodied by these demons, man. They had to be full of them. There's not 13 months. It is not. It's 12 months. It is. We have till 2033. I like it. No man knows the day or the time when the Lord comes, but it says that the devil gets released in 2,000 years after his incarceration date. So, do you believe that there are fallen angels running the world right now? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, do I believe that there's fallen angels running the world right now? Absolutely. I do believe that just as the devil walked into the Last Supper and embodied Judas, and Jesus saw him and said, go into him and do what you must do and do it quickly, I do believe that those very same demons have walked into the Oval Office, have walked into Berlin, Spain, France, Poland, Germany, Russia, China. I believe that they've walked into every one of those presidential chambers, and at certain moments and certain times have just stepped into them, just like the devil stepped into Judas and made the decisions to do stupid things, and probably just left the person. I mean, left Judas. Judas went out and did a terrible thing after he took his ride. So I just got a funny feeling that's what's happening right now. And you got to watch Enoch, a lot of those things, man. Enoch 1, it's only like 35 pages, and it really explains the fallen angels and a little bit better. So it also explains the realm of earth, so that people a lot of times like to know what shape things are, and people don't know. They got they got some great pictures from the little mission around the moon. But I smell NASA. Oh, Arlo, he is my service animal. I'm deaf in my left ear, and he actually is a service alert animal. And he tells me when my phone rings like a barking dog, don't you? And then you eat some of my dinner, don't you? Do you? You're a mean and terrible bad dog. He is. He's a mean and terrible bad dog. And he chases squirrels, don't you? You try to kill them? You do. NASA means deceive. I know, man. And I'm just like going, I showed a buddy of mine, and he was totally believes that first moon mission. I said, oh man, when the Artemis 2 went around, I said they got a picture of the cameraman that was standing on the moon that took the pictures of the last NASA people that left, and he had to chuckle at that. He had to chuckle at that because he knows that he did. NASA is never a straight answer. NASA means to deceive, but a lot of people go, it means nausea or something, and you're like going, whatever. Where you going? You like to get right down to the small of my back, don't you? He does. Arlo is a crevice. He likes to sleep in the crevice. He does. Do you believe in the rapture of the church? I believe in the rapture, and I believe in the church. But I don't think anybody's got a little front row, first class ticket to evade the tribulation of the world. So those people are not really. They're not really reading it right. I'm glad you're back. Like and follow, because they took 700,000 followers away from me. And actually, I just crossed over 10,000. Just made it. Thank you so much. I always get a couple of hundred followers when I go live, and I just crossed over 10,000. So they'll probably feed it out a little bit better. And I'm just going to keep preaching the truth, man. It didn't say that I had to blow the trumpet and, it just says that I have to tell you this stuff. And I just want you to know, as I read the book of Jubilees, I'm going to read it to you in the same verses right out of the Holy Bible, which is what the whole lesson was. Oh, they took your account. I know, man. 763,000 followers with no strikes, no appeals. They wouldn't answer any of my emails. And they just said that they whack. And it was the day it got sold. And as soon as whoever, they were like going, you got to get Trumpet Boy, man. He's barking. He's barking too loud. He just preached this whole Jubilees class. And we had finished the Jubilees class, man. And I'm doing it again. This is going to be something you're going to want to share your friends with. I'm going to set you up for every weekend so that you go into your Sabbath, that you've got a study guide so that you can read. Oh, I know, there was no... but you know what? There were a lot of flash fires, man. I got like 10,000 people that came back, and as soon as they see me, they go, man, I love talking to you. And I'd rather have 10,000 sharp people like y'all that want to be there as opposed to 700,000 people that are just causing crap, man, and just driving my, I told too much, I guarantee you. But what I did was exposed where these books were hidden, and it'll make you just wonder why, because we found out that the book of Jubilees does have one sentence that's not included in the Bible. Well, telling you all about the Malachim or the angels of the presence and all that stuff, those sentences aren't in the Bible either. But when Jacob met the angel and wrestled with the angel, that angel told him this sentence: do not build this place. And they took that out of the book of Jubilees before they found the caves in Qumran, and the crusaders and the people that had brought up these documents, the church had changed them. And when they found the caves in Qumran, and they compared the original book of Jubilees that was stored before the day of Jesus Christ, they found that it only differed in a couple of places, and it was that one major thing was, and do not build this place appeared there. So, do not build this place. Blessed Dad, that's your letter I got right back there, man. What you want to do? I love y'all stuff. Blessed Dad is always there. I don't want to put it or got his name. Macon, Georgia. I love it, man. Macon's a cool place. Do not build this place. That's the difference right there. That's what it said. Do not build this place. And blessed Dad, he's going to go into the thing. He sent me just a nice little, hey, a smile will last a while. Sent me a little love postcard right here. And he's going to go into the drawing. Big give, man. I'm going to give away something. What place? Do not, the temple, the tabernacle, not the tabernacle, the temple, and do not build this place. Well, he immediately stacked up the stones, and that started Gilgal and Bethel and these other places. And then he anointed the stones, and so he did raise those stones, and they built that place up. And it ended up being talking about the temple that was the Messiah. See, when he anointed the stones, he raised an image, which stacking stones, he raised an image, and then he anointed it. And the word anointed means Messiah in Hebrew. So he was like, there's the Messiah. I made the Messiah. And you're like going, you made a fool of yourself and you're an idiot. And so he did that. And when they said, do not build this place, it was don't try to build the temple. And Jesus said, no, I am the temple. I will raise it up in 3 days, so please tear this down. And Jesus was the temple. That's why they were saying, do not build this place. Because Jesus is the temple of it. And in the first earth and the first heaven were passed away, and there is no more sea, because there is a new heaven and a new earth. And it says that the Lamb is the light thereof of that city. So just know it's a new Jerusalem, and it's a new thing. It's can't build Babylon. No, discussing biblical interpretations of the book of Jubilees. Yes, AI summary. You know, AI is deceptive, wrong, crude, and ooh, let me see when our giveaway is. And it runs its mouth too much, man. Ooh, crap. What's the day? It's the 15th? It is. Okay, the 19th is when the giveaway is. All right. The first one's going to be like this weekend. And I'm going by this calendar. This is the Hebrew calendar. This is when they had Passover. Passover, you remember it was right there on April 1st, April Fool's Day, right there. There's Passover. That's exactly when I'm going to be giving away probably one of these. Let me show you. I'll show you. Me and you and Arlo, we'll look at this together. All of them have got this strap. And we put that on everything. It'll allow you with 3 different holes so that you can actually fill this book up. This is the book that I'd rather have. You know, you can read Bible after Bible. That thing's 5 inches up. This thing right here is cool as it can be. This has got this first piece of, you can see where everything's tied. See where everything's cut and it's tied? The codex, so whoever you get it to, you can present it to them. It tells you about the whole history of the book and how it was put together. But I like this because this is something that I want you to pass down. And this is about your whole family, his and her on the family. It's got births and important happenings so that you can record all about your family. This has got all the Dead Sea Scrolls, most of the most popular Dead Sea Scrolls, number 6 and number 9. The husband's family tree and the wife's family tree, all the way through. So it's got a lot of family information, and then this is all military service records, and then it goes right into the book of Jubilees. And you can see the different books that it has. Jubilees, Enoch is in here. The book of Jasher. Then it goes back through and it's got Gad. The gospel in it. Oh, and then right here. Remember I told you I put the maps in everything. Because they just let you know. And it's got even where the tomb of David and all of that stuff always shows right in there somewhere. Yeah, I can still see that. Yeah, there's the tomb of David. I love it. And this is all big. And then this is the codex, 2 inches thick. You can sort of see it's a good thing to hold on to. And we got a stack of these over here. Got a stack of them going out. And then the next thing that I'm working on is a trenches version of the Book of Jubilees. And I've got some different covers. But what I'm trying to get it is so that I can build a series of books this size right here. That you can, and this is my Book of Jubilees right here. Everything, all the pictures, all that crap in it. And I'm trying to build this as a series, so almost like when you take your A3 calendars and you take 2024 out and you put 2025 in, I want this to be the same size as that calendar so it works with those notebooks so that you don't have to buy all these notebooks. And you can buy this and go into that cover and then study the Book of Jubilees or the Book of Enoch and the other Jasher and Gad, and make a series of these books that are all tied and bound. And you can just see where I drilled right through it and all the crap. I do all of that. See where the string is? I do all of that here. See it? That's all tied and bound and then glued and leather. So it's not. The computer says that it would last up to 300 years, but you would almost have to preserve the paper in print of the letter is small, and that little thing is so tiny. It is. It's. Let me tell you something. The big codex. The codex is size 12 font. All of this is 8.5 by 11 paper, and every piece of it is size 12 font on every page of it. Double space so you can make a bunch of marks. That's how I built this. This literally, when you click print and you hit like A3, when it prints it, it's small as crap. But I actually can read it. I definitely would read it with glasses. But I would have a better chance on reading this on a plane and or standing out by the pool than reading a whole codex or a 5-inch thick Bible. I mean, those are cool, but they're big, and you got to lay them out on something. This I could hold in my hand, and I could read through this, and it's got the way it's written. The way it's written right now is that it only prints on that one side, so you can totally make notes on the other side of each page. This is getting ready to be something that will allow you to take Jubilees and Enoch with you, and that's what I really want to do. I want to create something that is like this, man. This is the Old Testament written in Hebrew, and I want to create these trench Bibles, I call it the trench Bible. So when we go into the trenches and the tribulation, man, we got your little Bible, you put it in there, and somebody shoots you in the chest, you, ha, I got you. You can't kill me. Because you hit my Bible. Let it scare the crap out of you. But I want you to be able to unclick, like in your calendar, take out 2024 and this an A6 or A3, and you click the new Bible and you click the new year in. I want you to be able to click the new Bible in. Now, I just got to get one to come in this weekend, and then I'll be able to go, all right, well, I'll just print my series of books in this size and sell them in 1-inch thick pieces so that you can do Jubilees. This is just the Book of Jubilees. And then, or you could do the other books. And I think it'll get it in your hands more. But you also want to sit down and study the Bible. This is a great size 12 font thing to do it with, man. I'll answer some of your questions in a minute. this is an example of one of the last ones, and you can see where it's been initialed. And then it is the 1582 Bible, and you can just see this is about 5 inches thick, 4 7/8 of an inch, and it weighs 17. So not in Satan's little season, or are we? I don't believe that we are in Satan's little season. I believe it says, "For thou art but a long," y'all that were for art but a long season in the desert. So it says the 40 years that they were in the desert was, quote, a long season. So I don't think that we're to consider a little season to be longer than a long season. And a lot of people go, well, man, there's just a bunch of madness in the world nowadays. And it's like, well, the rest of the dead yet live again. And when the rest of the dead yet live again, that's when it's pretty obvious. Oh, turn that away from air conditioning. So I don't think we're in a little season. I think that the little season happened when the rest of the dead yet live again, and Satan is released after the 1,000 years are finished for a little season. And after the 1,000 years are finished, the rest of the dead yet live again. He's released for a little season after 1,000 years, which would be from 33 AD, 1033 AD, when he was released for a little season. And I believe that he directed the rest of the dead that yet live again at that date. And I think he went out and directed them and said, hey, y'all go into the Biltmores and you go into Elon Musk and you become the Rothschilds, and y'all go get all this crap. You build the dams and make way for the kings of the East, and you get your crap together. I got to go back in the hole, chain down. Y'all get your crap together, ready? All right, game time, man. 1,000 years, boom, into the second death. I'm out, gathers the nations together. And he'll go out and gather the nations together. But it also, too, that's just him gathering Gog and Magog, which is Russia and China-ish, those areas. I just know. So it's Revelation 20, verse 7. I know 20, verse 5, like off the top of my head, but let me see what 7 is. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the 4 quarters of the earth, not corners, 4 quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together for battle, the number of who is as the sand of the sea. So that's it. That's the end of the second death. And that second death, it delineates the two. It says, he that is affected by the first resurrection is not affected by the second death. So just know that there are 2 different 1,000-year periods that they're talking about. And 2033 is the 33rd. He was killed at 33 years old. So is the United States support for Israel backed by Scripture? No. As nobody, dude, that he dressed up like a goat, man, and acted like his brother and got his brother's blessings. Esau was supposed to get all that crap. Jacob is the supplanter, the deceiver, the supplanter, the grabber of the heel, the one that will trip you and deceive you. Israel is what his name got changed to, means struggles with God. So Jacob is Israel, which means the name, I struggle with God. I have a problem with this. I'm a little slow. My crap don't work good. Yay! Thank you so much for all those gifts. Y'all are awesome. I like hat and mustache gifts because that sounds like a cowboy. But I just want y'all to know that, and not that I'm a cowboy whatsoever. I think that that's one of the gifts that goes closest to my things. With my voice, I'm wanting to teach the book of Jubilees even more and more as we start reading about the creation of Adam and Eve and we start reading about their children and the creation of the calendar. Jesus, come get me. You know what? Blessed and holy is that servant that is found working in him when his master returns. So just know, man, you want to be caught doing exactly this. You want to print out that study guide, and then you want to be studying on that, and you want to be reading, and you want to be working and living in him. And it sure is something I enjoy doing. But when you can read the book of Jubilees and you can read the book of Enoch and you can actually find where it says those things in the Bible, that's how I want to point this out to you. That's how I want you to learn this lesson. That's how I want you to spend your Sabbath. I don't need, 700,000 people. I wish 700,000 people would all listen to this. But I need y'all to listen to it and then understand it and know where it's written in the Bible too, so that you can tell people, can the angels or Satan? That doesn't make sense to me. I shouldn't read part of it. Can the angels or Satan repent? I doesn't say that it says the fallen angels that they sent a message to God through Enoch. You can read that in the book of Enoch, and he said that your message, your request has been denied, and that you are bound to eternal hell. So they specifically asked for mercy, and then they built a tower to try to get up and have another conversation with God. And he struck the tower down. So I'm going to say no. And then he slapped the tower down and said, hell no. Hell no. He said no and hell no. According to Enoch, no. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? According to the book of Jubilees, too, he had said, you're stuck here on earth, and he was getting ready to strike all of them, and Satan said, can I have yet but a tenth of them to do my bidding, to help carry out my will in my process on this earth? And he was granted a tenth of the souls that were to do his bidding, the devil's bidding. So I think that's in the next couple of chapters. And Jubilees doesn't just skip over the fallen angels. Man, it's got a couple of chapters of where the sons of Noah, where they were deceived and they went astray. And man, they did bad too, dude. It's in the next couple of chapters. But I want to read it to you and then read you right out of where it's saying the same thing in the Bible, so that you can realize that what kind of thing we're talking about, when we're talking about, and it's just another version of, if people describe a car accident and they're standing on four corners of a street corner, each four of the people, if they were on all four corners, each four of them are going to have a slightly different version of what they saw and had. And I believe Jubilees is just another version of, it is, they call it the Little Genesis, but it's almost like another version of what somebody saw in this car accident that we call life. God had his radio up too loud. They were sitting. There's a lot of retribution going on in that car over there. What did God let them? Why did God let them here? They were watchers, man. And it was because of, if you're a woman, it was because of you. I'm kidding. It was because God created men and women, and the watchers were supposed to watch. And the women, when they mated with the men, they were able to create life together, and the watchers couldn't create life. So they got totally jealous of these chicks that could create a being, and they wanted to create one of their own types of beings. And when the sons of God went in unto the daughters of men and created giants, they became mighty men, men of renown. And you can read all about David's men and his mighty men and his men of renown that helped him, that slayed 400 people and, with one sword. And you start reading about these people back in the day, man, and they were mighty men, men of renown, very half-breed smart people, half giant, half angel. But then they went way too far away. I mean, you'll read it in the next couple of chapters in Jubilees, and it'll be the next Wednesday or so. Saturday Live is when we do this all over again. I can't wait to do this Saturday Live trivia because I'm going to check and see if you're reading this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some trivia questions to the upcoming chapters and see if you can do it, because it's going to be talking about the fallen angels, the Nephilim. You're just going to, dude, go get one of those codexes and just read along with me and mark on it, and on the borders and the edges of the pages just write, this is where it says this in Genesis 32:21, and I point all of that out for you, the exact verse where we're reading. It's going to be in that codex, and you just pick one up and follow right along with us. And that is Saturday. I'm going to go all over the lesson again, but I can't wait to ask some questions. And y'all should go get you some tea, go get you some wine, go get you some, and just a little bit, man. You ain't got to have no big thing, but you can drink much wine you want to, you know. But go get you some bread, and go get a nice fresh loaf of bread. Do you know bread's supposed to only last for like a day or so? We put so much crap in our bread, it lasts for like a week. And then print out this lesson, and if God ever returns, not if God ever returns, when God returns, if you're reading this lesson, you're working in Him, and you're learning, and you're living in Him. You go on my list, and this is on my list to print out. This is the Jubilee calendar, and this has all 12 months in it. It works perfectly. It tells you exactly in chapter 6 how to break it out. Go print that out, man, and just watch how some of these days. Let me show you real quick. This is day 0, the day the sun was created. It says it was created on the 4th day to keep up with the days and seasons, right there. That's when the sun was created. The first light was created over here. That was not the sun. The sun was not the first light. The sun and the moon were created to keep up with the days on the 4th day, right here, Wednesday. And then this is the first day of the year. So when the sun was created and it went down, that started the first day. And that day 0 makes a 364-day calendar work perfectly. And that's exactly how they kept up with time. But just know that the book of Jubilees, the calendar, and all the months of that are right there on my right there on my link tree. And then this is lesson 2 right here, and of Jubilees chapter 2. And you can see right next to it where, once you print this out, this is where it says the same thing in the Bible. And it's just page after page of confirmation of, here it is in Jubilees, here it is in the Bible, almost verse for verse, of the creation of the earth and the angels and the host of heaven as it explains. And when we start reading into the next couple of weeks, the next couple of chapters, man, you're going to want to read ahead of me, and I know that you are. And it's right there inside of the book of Jubilees. It's right there inside of that codex. And I think I'm going to have about 16 of them sitting on the table in the next 2 days. And most of those are sold and gone. And I think I'm almost about to catch up to where I'll have one sitting on the shelf that I could almost, every time I say that, I'll get 5 orders for them. But there's a lot of the people that are wanting to read the truth and what the church hid from us, and that is in the codex, and that is in the book of Jubilees. Those are the ones that were always taken out. So that would make it a day or 2 off. No, it doesn't make it a day or 2 off whatsoever. It's 364 days, and day 0 makes it 365 days. And you understand that a lot of people keep up with the day starting at 12:01 in the morning, and the day ends at the end of the day. So the evening and the morning were the first day. When it says that, it means that at the end of the day, when the sun goes down, that's the end of the day. And so it would be about 6:30, 7 o'clock when the sun goes down is the end of the day. And a lot of people get that from that to midnight. They're just trying to get it to fit their midnight schedule. And it says that he who walks around in the darkness and makes observances of the moon, that there is no light in him. He stumbleth because there is no light in him. So stay out of the dark looking at the moon and count the sun. It says right there in Yahweh chapter 2, verse 9, and Yahweh appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth and the works for the days and the Sabbaths and the months and for the feasts and the years. I mean, it doesn't mince words right there. It's the sun, and it's not the moon. Equal night and day. I'm meaning because equal night and day is the equinox rather than equal lux rather than the equinox. I can tell you that that day is the first day of spring. And if you look up the first day of spring throughout the next forever, it's going to tell you that it is exactly on March 20th. And that's the first day of spring. That's when the sun and the moon are equally paired. And it's always going to be on March 20th. So just know that works all the time. And the first month, on the 14th day of the month, you shall celebrate your Passover, and that's when they crucified Jesus Christ. And you see right there, there's April 1st. And when the sun went down right there, that's when it started the Passover. But whatever, don't trust me. Don't listen to that dumb country boy. We'd have been done figuring this crap out. That's what I'm here to tell you, is to explain this to you. And I'd really love to talk to y'all one-on-one, and I've got some time to do it too. I am going to try to start working on putting some classes so that I can talk one-on-one with y'all, and do like a Zoom call and a Zoom class where I can at least have a very a condensed class. And it just lets me, I feel like when I'm talking to somebody one-on-one and they have questions, that as we're walking, I can sort of let them navigate it. Let you read this and not just be the one telling them the story. Hey, let you read them. Like I'm gonna do this one time before we go, and then I'm gonna sign off. But do we have any pre-trib people in the audience tonight? Tell me if we got any pre-trib people in the audience tonight. Come on. I am. Nope. All right. What does it say? Sun truth finding. Okay. And I want to show you a scripture. Do you have your Bible with me? Can y'all pin that? Do you mind doing a little investigative journalism with me with a Bible? Do you have a Bible, Sun Truth? I want you to. Tell me. I am. Okay, you have a Bible that you can read, look up a scripture? Look up Matthew 24, chapter 24, verse 29. I'm driving by. Okay, well then let me read it for you, and I'll do it. Let me read it for you. Quit. I might let somebody come on, but I'm going to read Matthew. I'm going to read Matthew 24:29, and these are Jesus's words right here. They're in red. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and that first part I want to start. Immediately after the tribulation, that's Jesus talking. These are Jesus' words. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then, immediately after the tribulation, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of earth shall mourn. So just know, I love saying that to people, because what they're looking for is that, hey, wait a minute, what about these good works and this good deed people? There's 3 books that are read, and they're read aloud, and it says in Revelations that the books were opened, and another book was opened, and it says that in Revelations 20, verse like 12 or so, and another book was opened. And it's talking about 3 books. But if you go get the Codex, which is right there, the Codex has the book of Gad in it, and it discusses the 3 books that are opened. And the first book that is opened are the just deeds of the people, and those people are the first ones that are vacuumed up and granted eternal life. So that's the first, I call them the first class ticket group, man. That's the grandma group. So that is the just deeds of the people. That's the first book. The second book is the unintentional sins of the people, and they're given 10 days of atonement to watch and see what they will do, is exact the words in it. And then the third group are the terrible deeds or the bad people, and these are given to Satan for him to destroy. So those people that are watching the first group get vacuumed up and the third group get destroyed, those are where you would see the people that are taken straight up on the first lap. So I think that's sort of how that reads. And if you get the Codex, it's in the book of Gad, and it's right there in the middle of it, and it's really cool. Got a lot of pictures in there. What about 7 years of tribulation? I think we're like smack dab in the middle of that. You know what? I got one little thing right here. It doesn't say 7 years ever, really. It says 3.5 years, like a lot. So let's frame that in our mind, that it doesn't really say 7 years, but one place. It says 3.5 years, a lot. But it says 7 years in one place, because it says 70 weeks are from the time that the going forth of the rebuilding of the walls of Jerusalem, which Suleiman did that in 1541. But it says then 69 weeks. And a week is 7 years. A week of years is 7 years. You can see that right there. So it says 70 weeks of years. That's right there. And that's from the going forth. That's what makes that date. And then it says 69 weeks. So the difference is 1 week, all right? And the difference is 1 week of years, which is 7 years. That's the only place where 7 years really comes up. And so that's where the 7 years really comes up. And it says, at the last trump, which he dropped off the popularity charts pretty hard, man, with that whole little, I'm Jesus, I'm not Jesus. Well, you dressed up like you jackass. Anyway, at the last trump, Greg, the trumpet will sound, and all of the people will start reading the book of Jubilees. At the last trump, the trumpet will sound. And we will all be changed in the twinkling of an eye. So just know that. That's what it is. I love y'all so much, and all these things are right there posted on my page, where those that make observances of the moon and how they'll follow and go 10 days too soon, right there. It also has a Jubilee calendar right there that it breaks down all 4 of the seasons, and it's absolutely perfect. And if you want any of that stuff, they're either going to be in my codexes right there that we're making, or the Apocrypha Bible. And all of my work is going to be right there on my link tree. So if you go click at the top of the page right there, and then click on the next thing on that link tree, there's going to be all my work. You know me and my family love you. We certainly do. And I pray for y'all every morning, and I pray that I get my words right, and that I give y'all a good, clean message. And I pray that if my message is not right, that he strike my work down, and I'll do it 1,000,000 times. So if you're seeing my work, I ask him to strike it down if it weren't true. So I just do that every time before I go on and push send. I always just say, hey, let me do it 1,000,000 times to get it right for you, and please strike my work down. So if you've seen something, he let it pass. And you know me and my family love you. So, and y'all have a blessed day. And in Jesus' name, amen. Push your button.